if you're not where you want to be as a barber or a barbershop owner, chances are you're measuring the wrong things. The journey I went through as a barbershop owner, I think maybe some other people have had the same journey, but basically I was a barber, right? And then I was like working for somebody else, and then I was like, I could do this. So then I opened a shop, and then for 5 years, I think I just basically ran the shop the way that the shop that I came from was ran. I'd maybe change a couple things, and then I just kind of copied, what other people were doing in the area. I remember one time I called every barbershop in the city. Well, I don't know, it was like 10 or 15 shops. And then I asked them what they charge for a haircut. I put everything into a spreadsheet, and then I came up with the average, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to charge. Right? So basically, the first 5 years of my shop, I was guessing. I did not know what I didn't know. That my shop opened in 2015. It was actually year 5. So 2 things happened in 2020, if you can remember. One of them was COVID. Some of you guys might remember what I'm talking about. So COVID was a big deal. But that actually wasn't the biggest test for us. The biggest test for us, for my shop, the way I see it, was we opened our second location during that time. So not only were we dealing with a pandemic, but I decided to open a barbershop during that time. I know it was really smart on my part. At that time, that I started to realize that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's the most dangerous part about opening your own barbershop, is the unknown unknowns. It's like you don't even know the stuff that you should know, right? You're not even aware of it. And so for in my case, putting the stress test of both COVID and opening a new location combined almost killed our business. But in a way, it was kind of the best thing that ever happened, because it forced me to start learning about the things that I share, on my channels for free for you guys, and in my Skool community, which is also free. So not knowing was the first step for me, was realizing, like, I don't even know what I don't know. So then I think the natural next evolution of that was, okay, I have to learn these things. It's going to take me, I don't have the time to learn it on my own. I was like bleeding money. So then I was like, I need to hire somebody. Like, we're going to go out of business if I don't find somebody to help me. And at that time, barber coaches and consultants and things like that were actually really hard to find. Now they're not. I still think most of them are full of shit. You can probably find some good ones out there, but most of them are full of shit. But at that time, it was really difficult. But I finally found a mentor, and I learned what I needed to know, to track at least, right? Because I didn't even know what numbers I should be tracking. Because my first couple calls with my coaches went like this. So he would be like, so what's your retention? I'm like, what's that? What's your product to service sales ratio? I'm like, what? I don't know. We sell products every now and then. I don't know the ratio. What's your utilization? What's your productivity at your shop? How booked are you? Your percentage? I'm like, I don't know. What's your rebooking percentage? How many of your clients leave with their next appointment booked? What's your average ticket? What's your client lifetime value? What's your profit percentage? Right? What's your payroll cost? And I was just like, whoa. That's when I started to realize I know nothing. Now I know these things, but I'm just telling you guys, I've been through this, and that's the next step. So step 1 is realizing that you know nothing, and you don't know what you don't know, and that's a really dangerous step to be in. And I think honestly, probably a lot of people don't survive that, right? Because they just go on copying everybody else, right? And I can tell you this: if you want your barbershop to fail, the best way to do that is to copy other barbershops that are also failing. If you want your barbershop to succeed, then copy the barbershops that are doing the best. And you need to check your ego at the door, because chances are you're not smarter than somebody who's been doing it for 10, 20 years. Right? There's a reason why these big companies get so big. We like to talk shit about these chains, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. So step 1, realize that you know nothing. This is me talking about myself, talking to myself. Next step was learning what I need to start tracking. and then implementing the systems to track it. So we had to switch softwares. We had to build all these tools, all these spreadsheets and everything. I had to teach my team to use it. But I think now that and my coach taught me this as well, and this is the main thing I want to share with you guys today, and that's that tracking is not enough, right? It's good to know the numbers, but don't focus exclusively on the numbers, because that is just the outcome. And in a lot of cases, that is a lagging indicator, meaning like it is too late to do anything about it by the time you know what that number is and it becomes accurate. For example, like retention is one of the, in our shop at least, one of the biggest lagging indicators, because we measure that over a 90-day period. So we don't even know what our retention was for this month until 4 months later. I can't do shit about that now, you know? But what you want to focus on is like, what are the things that cause that number to look the way it is? So for example, like a lot of barbers struggle with rebooking. I think that's something that a lot of barbers have in common, but my argument would be, so you need to track your rebooking, like we talked about, but I think that a lot of barbers are just looking at the numbers and saying like, oh, I suck. But are you tracking the behaviors that lead to higher rebooking? So for example, one of the things that I like to tell my team is the sale happens in the chair. The transaction happens at the front desk. So what does that mean? So a lot of barbers who struggle with rebooking, with product sales, with membership sales, it's no surprise when I ask them, well, are you bringing it up during the haircut? And their answer is no. So of course you're struggling with rebooking and product sales and membership sales and any other number you want to influence is because you didn't even talk about it. You know, this guy was sitting in your chair for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour sometimes, and you spent the entire time talking about sports, talking about what restaurants you're going to go to this weekend. You didn't even drop the hint about rebooking. You didn't even drop the hint about products. So our barbers that have the best rebooking percentages, that have the highest product sales, that have the highest membership sales, they're bringing that up while the client's still in the chair. If you're waiting until you get to the checkout, to the end of the haircut, it's too late. As soon as a client's butt leaves your chair as a barber, their mind is gone too. Their mind is now thinking about the next thing they want to do. They want to get the hell out of there, right? Most of them. So if you wait till that moment to bring up, hey, do you want to set up your next appointment? Do you want to buy this product that I didn't even talk about? Good luck with that, you know? So you got to bring those things up in the consultation, because I think I have this theory, like the longer a client has to think about something, the more likely they're going to say yes, right? So it's especially with something like a membership, right? You're asking them to commit to paying monthly for their haircuts. That's something that a lot of people need to think about, right? So maybe bring that up in the consultation within the first 5 minutes of sitting in your chair, and then they've been thinking about it for 30 minutes by the time they even get to the front desk, and they have time to even ask you questions about it and stuff like that, right? So I think a lot of barbers don't realize what I just said to you, which is like, if you're struggling with these numbers, you got to focus on the behaviors that lead to those numbers. And it could just be as simple as, instead of waiting until you get to the checkout when the client's already ready to go to bring it up for the first time, bring it up right from the beginning of the haircut, right? And ideally multiple times throughout the service. So that way, by the time you get to the front desk or the checkout, however you do it, that client has had plenty of time to think about it. So I think the level 2.0 version of numbers and tracking and influence and growing your barbershop is, you track your numbers still for sure, but start tracking the inputs. If you're struggling with rebooking, how many people did you ask? How many times did you bring it up in the consultation, throughout the haircut? What time did you bring it up? Did you wait till the very end of the haircut, or did you say it from the very beginning? I'm not saying you should be selling your client the entire fucking time that they're in your chair, but one of my mentors called it like a flyby. It's like real quick, like, hey, how long has it been since your last haircut? Oh, 3 weeks? Oh, that's perfect, dude. Yes. And just so you know, I'm getting pretty busy. So you should probably think about booking your next appointment before you leave. Boom, drop it, go back to whatever the fuck you were talking about, right? It doesn't have to be this 30-minute long sales pitch. You just do a quick flyby, product sales, same thing. By the way, what are you using in your hair? Oh, do you like it? Because I think that product has alcohol in it. Do you want me to try something at the end? It might be healthier for your hair, and we have some here if you like it. Boom, back to the conversation. It doesn't have to be this whole sales pitch. It's just like you're just dropping these hints throughout the haircut, so they got time to like marinate on it, and by the time you go to check them out, the likelihood of that sale happening so much higher, right? Right, I have a whole 40-something minute long video on my YouTube channel about consultations, right? I think the single most important skill that a barber can have is probably consultations. Well, that's one of the skills, because you also need to like know how to cut hair, know how to have a conversation. But I think most of the time when I see barbers or clients that are unhappy with the results of their service in our shop, it's usually not a skill issue in terms of the barbers. It's usually because there was a miscommunication. The barber just did not ask enough questions. He took this hair too short, left it too long, took the fade too high, put a line in there that wasn't supposed to be there. It's just like, and that just could be solved by asking a couple more questions. But anyways, if you want to influence those numbers, my argument would be track the inputs. If you're trying to lose weight, it's pointless to step on the scale and stare at the number. Like nothing is going to happen. You have to focus on what you're eating. There's this saying in the bodybuilding community, not the scale. So when you're trying to influence the numbers in your barbershop, you focus on the behaviors, not the numbers. If you're consistent with the behaviors, the outcomes will start to be more consistent. If you're struggling with rebooking, start tracking how many times did you ask? Did you ask every client? If so, how many times did you ask them? Right? How many times did you bring it up while their butt was still in your chair? If you're struggling with product sales, same exact thing. Right? I can virtually guarantee you, if you guys just do that, and it doesn't cost anything, you'll probably start to see a noticeable increase in those numbers, right? Whatever you're trying to influence. So that's like basically the whole point of this quick video, is just like start tracking your numbers if you're not tracking them, right? But then once you got the data coming in, you need to focus on, well, what drives that number, and then track that as well. And if you focus on that, the numbers will take care of itself, right? So, hopefully you found that helpful.